Hello, my name is Colleen Penn, and welcome to the premiere edition for Inside the Governor's Group. His Excellency the Governor, Mr. John S. Duncan OBE, held a press briefing to mark 2 years in office. The Governor fielded several questions from the media and outlined major accomplishments in his address. He applauded the territory on its ability to navigate enormous changes over the past 40 years.
You will have heard me say in many of my public speeches how impressed I have been with the extraordinary journey that the British Virgin Islands have taken over the past 40 years. From a quiet and peaceful part of the Caribbean region with little significant economic activity, a population of around 10,000, a political architecture based on the Executive Council model, the Virgin Islands within 2 generations have grown into a country which is a player on the global economy.
The Governor stated that a focused and structured approach is needed to fill local talent at the most senior level in the government.
In this context, it is perhaps important to underline that the rules governing senior appointments are clearly set out in the Constitution. The Governor acts on the advice of the Public Service Commissions, the PSC, the JSLC and the POSC, whose members are in almost all cases BV Islanders. Only one post, that of the Deputy Governor, is specifically assigned to a BV Islander. It follows from the vision that I have set out above, that the local community taking responsibility for its future, that I very much favour the appointment of local people to exercise that responsibility at the most senior levels.
3 senior appointments were made within the Governor's group. Ms. Kim Hollis QC took office as the new Director of Public Prosecutions of the British Virgin Islands on August 29th. Ms. Hollis has extensive experience in the criminal courts in Wales, England, and Bermuda, and is experienced in international mediation. Ms. Hollis has been in practice for 35 years, and as the new DPP, Ms. Hollis is the principal prosecutor in the Virgin Islands and has overall responsibility for all aspects of criminal proceedings. Carolyn Stout Igwe is the new acting permanent secretary in the Deputy Governor's office. Mrs. Igwe said her immediate areas of focus are capacity building, reinforcing administrative systems, and succession planning. Mrs. Igwe plans to conduct an analysis of the positions in the ministries and departments that are headed by officers who may be expected to retire or complete their contracts within a certain time frame. A pool of locally qualified persons who can fill those positions when they become available will then be identified. The identified persons will be exposed to development plans in an effort to ensure they are fit to serve in the different posts. Acting Deputy Governor Mrs. Rosalie Adams assumed her new role in the post earlier this month. Mrs. Adams brings over 45 years of extensive experience and knowledge to the post, having served within the public service at the highest levels. Mrs. Adams' official duties began with a courtesy visit to the Premier of the Virgin Islands, Dr. the Honorable D. Orlando Smith, OBE. She also met with other senior officials within government. On August 26th, Mrs. Adams was sworn in as the acting governor of the Virgin Islands. She will serve in that post until September 19th. Additionally, Her Majesty the Queen signified through the Secretary of State for the Foreign and Commonwealth Affairs that Mrs. Adams be appointed as Deputy Governor of the Virgin Islands from September 1st until February 28, 2018. Public officers will benefit from clear guidance in accessing health care from the British Virgin Islands Health Services Authority, as a memorandum of understanding was signed between the authority and the Department of Human Resources. The MOU serves as a formal agreement identifying the framework which allows the Department of Human Resources to access medical services from the BVI HSA. The Royal Fleet Auxiliaries Wave Night made its annual visit to the Virgin Islands this month. The RFA Wave Night arrived in the territory on August 8 to provide humanitarian and disaster relief as part of its program of events for overseas territories. While in the territory, the ship's officers engaged local agencies such as the hospital, the Fire and Rescue Services, the National Parks Trust, the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force, and the Water and Sewerage Department. At the Department of Disaster Management, officers received extensive in-depth communication on their process. The ship will remain in the region for the entire 2016 Atlantic hurricane season. That's all for now. Visit the Government of the Virgin Islands YouTube, Facebook, and website to learn more about us. And join us next month for our September edition of Inside the Governor's Group.